think it's important for us to say that even for the laws in Kenya, it really is not compulsory for you to disclose whether you have a family or not during an interview.
Yeah.
It's also not important. Your marital status doesn't matter for an interview.
Exactly.
Even something as how much you earn in your previous company, no one needs to know. If you don't want to disclose that information, you don't need to disclose.
Yeah.
So anything that can be used as a bias to decide the offer that they are going to give you, please, you don't need to disclose that information.
Yep.
And it's so shameful for companies to use that information. Because I know a friend of mine was actually somehow he talked personally about his family, and they really gauged what kind of an income level he comes from. Yes.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Global Tech Sailors. It's been a while, we've been away, and we are back and we're looking amazing.
Thank you.
Right?
Of course we are.
Yeah, so getting right into it, I'd like to start with introductions, and before the guests, we'll have our co-hosts introduce herself.
Wow, thank you. Yeah, it's been a minute since I got here. My name is Kilonzi. I am a quarter of Global Tech Sailors podcast, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I am Mwikali, a co-host here. I do so much. And on to our very beautiful, amazing, gorgeous. We can use all the adjectives, but you can go Bobo.
All right. Thank you so much for this. My name is Beatrice Wambui, and I'm the guest here. It's my pleasure to be here finally.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
It's exciting. It's exciting to be in this platform. I've seen it grow. I've seen you guys since you started. So it's really, it has been long overdue actually. Yeah. Yes. So finally I got the call. And so I'm honored that it was honored finally.
Please, it's important to say, Baba has been one of our sponsors.
Yeah.
Yes. Baba.
True.
Yes, she sponsored one of the
100%.
episodes. Please. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I know it took long for us to invite you, but we're happy that you're here.
Yeah.
All right. I'm happy.
Good things take time. I mean, right now we have a bigger audience, and with you, we are going to get more subscribers as well. So please,
Oh, guys, subscribe.
yes, please subscribe and follow us.
Thank
Share
you.
our work as well. So thank you and welcome once again.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so maybe the very first thing that we'd like for you to start with is what motivated you to pursue your career in tech? Were you laughing?
Okay, because my motivation is going to sound so so mundane. It's not something that is wow, you know. Because to be honest, I think I can be authentic, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that I saw a big thing in tech and then I was like, oh my god, I need to join tech. No. The thing that made me join tech was love. I just felt like I want to afford a better lifestyle for the person that I was with. So I was like, okay, let me join tech. Yeah.
I've never
So I
heard
can be able to spoil them.
I've never heard of such a reason.
I know, like I've said, it's not
Okay,
inspiration.
so please make me understand. So you had there was money in tech, and in as much as you wanted the money, you kind of wanted the money for
Somebody else.
to
spoil somebody else.
to spend someone else.
I wanted money for that relationship. You know, like initially I was doing activities online, and when I say activities, it's not only France. It's
That is very important to say.
It is online writing. I was doing academic writing. So that time my brain was exhausted, and also I needed a space whereby I can be able to to just earn really good money, you know. So looking at the lifestyle that we were leading and the lifestyle that I wanted us to have, I was like, tech seems like a good space, you know. And so I joined tech, and every time someone asks me why I joined tech, it's very funny because I'm like, oh my God, they think it's very inspirational, but it's not.
Wow. But I mean, it also comes from a good place that you want to treat someone else better. So it's good. But maybe before we get to that point, was
it even?
I can't imagine myself doing that. But
was it worth
really?
it? It wasn't. Okay, it was worth it because at least right now I'm in tech, but now they're my ex, you know. So it was worth it because I realized I really love it. You know, the moment that I started it and I got the scholarship to go to the institution that I went, I fell in love with tech and I've grown since then. So I'm thankful for how it led me here. But now I'm here to stay.
Yes.
Okay. But we don't have exes. When we get somebody new, we reset the body stuff. Yeah.
So it was factory recent.
Yeah,
Correct.
factory reset.
So it's a stranger that I used to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody
really.
you used to know.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's also the benefits of going on a wrong path, but now finally enjoying the benefits of it. So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, true. So
Before we get there,
cannot believe like someone can just
I can't imagine.
I also can't. I am flabbergasted, but I'll see you after this episode.
Wow.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You guys have never heard why I joined tech?
No. Personally, no.
Wow. You thought it was, wow, I saw tech. I saw it was.
Yeah, I
You
discovered
fell in
Mbugua
love.
on LinkedIn and she was very passionate. So me, I just was like, oh, this is another passionate techie. I didn't know that.
I fell in love with
matters
tech,
of the
but
heart.
it was
Look
because
at
of
this
matters
one.
of the heart.
You fell in love with tech because you fell in love with somebody.
I know.
Wow.
So I'm
Which
always
is
like, every time someone asks me why I joined tech, it just takes me to, that person.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's good though. What did you do in school in terms of your background?
I did disaster management.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very different from the tech journey, but I did disaster management. Then I specialized in disaster preparedness and environmental technology.
Did you ever practice that?
No. The moment that I graduated, I was like, it has been well. It has been nice. So I went to do online writing because I think for the longest I've not had the passion to do physical, like to go to work physically. So I really needed something remote. Also because I had my son, I think that time, I got my son when I was in school. So I needed a job that will make me raise him while I'm still around. And remote work was it for me, even before Corona or something. Like I've never said, right now I'm going to work.
Yeah.
It has never happened. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But since you've already brought up the aspect of motherhood, and that's what we are going to talk about here, before we get to the kids. You were once a kid. What did you want to go or to do when you grew up, when you were a kid?
I wanted to be a teacher.
Wow.
Oh, weirdly. Right now I'm teaching.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wanted to be a teacher. I felt like teaching was really, really the side that you impact knowledge on someone and you have the ability to influence their life.
Yeah.
It was really, for me, it was something that I really aspired to do. Because now, even before, I really knew like the space that I want to go, right? I was in Sunday school and I really loved my Sunday school teacher. Mwikali can't believe I was in Sunday school. But
She can't believe it. Don't worry, I believe it.
So, and then eventually I changed my dream and I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer.
I've ever wanted to be that at some point.
Right? So, but it was a dream that right now even I can't imagine doing. But teaching has always been... that's something that I really want to do.
Yeah. That's nice. I think part of teaching maybe might have been motivated by your parents. Is it?
Not really. Not really. I think it was just my teachers and just seeing them and how kind they were. to some extent because of the background that I came from. So they were really kind, and you'd see how much they're stepping in for me. So I was like, I would love to make a change in someone's life just like they did, you know?
Yeah.
So afterwards, but now when I finished Form 4 and then during the cluster and we were choosing the courses, my dad called me and he was like, okay, you have to choose teaching. But I was like, you know how teaching is a bit frowned upon. I was like, okay, I can't do teaching. So
a lot of unemployment in teaching.
Exactly, with the current going on.
Junior secondary teachers.
So I was like, okay, I just need to go and do disaster management because it was a bit, so when you're choosing disaster management, you're told, oh, the NGOs, the money is there, blah, 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 you get. So I was like, okay, let me just choose disaster management, then just do a degree for my parents, then do now my own. And I think that is why, like you said, I was really passionate about tech because this is my thing and not something that I had to do because I just went to the university, you know? So, yeah.
I also think it's very important to study disaster management so that you may be able to handle Nairobi people.
Wow.
You get me?
Wow. She's handling that very well as well. So we love where you're at. I think it's now materializing.
Yeah, you handle those disasters very well. And you're growing as an individual. I love that for you.
Thank you.
But before you go, I think it's very important for us to point out that, okay, now since you're discussing tech, motherhood, and teaching, you brought in teaching. What I want to understand is what aspects of being a teacher do you see in parenthood or motherhood, even before you get to tech?
Yeah.
A lot. Like, let's say, for instance, a child does not come with a manual, you know? So, and a child comes in as a way that they have to mimic everything that you're doing. You know, so you have to be a very good example to your child. You have also to know that for them, as they're coming in, they're individuals. They're not an extension of who you are. You know, so as they're growing up, you also have to learn. There's a moment that they have to showcase their individualism, and you have to respect that. You know, and every single moment. And I think parenthood is a 24/7 kind of job. So every single day, there's something that they're going to teach you, something new. And also you have to be able to instruct them. So mostly when it comes to parenting and also teaching in a way, you find yourself, instead of being like a person who is like pressuring your kids to do something, you have to showcase that by how you're doing your actions. You know? So, and I think there's something that, I don't know, the best friend to Oprah, is it Gail? She's called, I don't know her name exactly, but she was saying the thing about being, you have to differentiate between being a manager and a consultant when it comes to your kids. And you want to be a consultant, not a manager. You know?
Makes
so
sense.
in that way, even when you're being a teacher to your own kids, you have to allow them to teach you. Because you see right now, a lot of, and I love the fact that right now we are doing these podcasts as a lot of things are happening. And Gen Zs are out there teaching and also changing the narrative. So even as a parent, you have to sit down and listen because they have something new. So parenting has taught me a lot about teaching, and also teaching has taught me a lot about parenting.
Wow. Okay. So in that case then, how do you relate that to you getting into tech? Because understand your background is not in anything tech related. It's in disaster management. You get out, you do academic writing, you do social media, but then you get into programming and coding and all that. How do you say you being a mother and also doing all these things that you are doing, how did your learning journey get affected, or how do all these things, how do they work together?
So I think I have a very strong, what is it called, like mental strength when it comes to balancing everything. Okay, So for one, as I said, I got my child when I was at school first year, and I had to balance that doing disaster preparedness and also being a parent.
Okay.
And the thing that I say to myself, because I got pregnant was when I was 20, and I decided in my head that I will never look at my child and say, you're the one who made me stop my dreams. You know, so I will never blame him for anything at all. Like,
that would be unfair.
It does not get to be blamed. You know.
True.
So even when I went and told my parents about it, and I remember my father asking me, "Are you going to defer? Like, how are you going to raise the child?" And I was like, "I'm not using." Okay, I was a bit shrewd because I was like, "I'm not using my child's brain. You know, I'm using my own brain. I have to go to school. Even if I have to go with that child in the classroom and do the exams, I will have to finish my school, and then I have to go and live my life." In a way that I will never look back and say, if it wasn't for him, I would not be here, or I would be here, you know? Yeah. So my child has become, and that's why I said it's very important for you to consider your children as a different entity from you, so that you don't find yourself blaming a child for things that they didn't even ask for them to be liable to, you know? True. So that one now comes in when it comes to the mental strength. So for me, I've been able to separate parenting and the things that I do. So if, let's say, for example, it's because remember when I went into tech, I had to go back to school.
Yes.
Right? So I had to really remember, like, why am I doing this? Okay? Am I doing this for me, or am I doing this for him? Yeah. Okay. And I have to remember every single time, I'm doing this for me so that he can be happy. Yeah. You know, like I have to be happy first. Yes. So that for him, he can be happy. I have to be a very good example for him to be, to follow that. That's so true. That in any way, he will never come back and say, oh, my mom gave up her dreams for me. No, I never gave up anything. I've never given up anything. You see? Yeah. So when it comes now to balancing that, it has been a very smooth transition because even for him, he understands mom has to go back to school. Why does she have to go back to school? Because of ABCD. And you see, the reason why I also chose, like, I need to work remotely, because in my head I had said I want him to be raised by me from year 1 to year 7, whereby in those 7 years I have to mold his character before anyone can be able to mold him. That's so I didn't want nannies, I didn't want domestic help, I didn't want anyone. Yes. I wanted him to come home, find me. For the longest time, even right now, when I was coming in this podcast, he's like, where are you going? You know, because for the longest he has seen me around, you know. Yeah. So he does not get to understand, oh, mommy leaves, you know. So for him, he has grown knowing like a parent has to be present. You see, so the moment that I'm doing all that and I'm showing him my assignments and I'm showing him what I'm doing, right now he understands about things like HTML, JavaScript. I saw he can code.
Yeah, you know, that's very nice actually.
Yeah, so he was actually like, he really like made a whole landing page and I was so impressed. That was last year but one.
Yeah, so he gets to be part of that because the moment that you bring your children into what you're doing, they get to be inspired because they can literally see, oh, so mom does this at this time. And also I had to categorically tell him, like, there's this time for me and also now there's this, like, you communicate. Because this is a human being you're raising.
True.
So yeah, so that's how I did it. And that's how I'm still doing it.
Eish.
Yeah.
Supermom. But anyway, I wanted to talk about, we get that you have the balance. You're very strong-willed and you're very, you have a very strong mental, let me say, capability. But I'd really want to understand, are there any challenges you have faced as a mother in tech, as an individual in tech, anything?
Of course there is. There is a lot. Supermom. Because as I've said, remember, as also as a mother, there's something that you forget even as mothers. You're a human being, you know.
True.
Like how I started, I said like I entered tech because of a relationship. Then that relationship failed, right? I had to go through that breakup, man. I had to go through it.
Disaster management.
You know, disaster. I had to go for therapy, you know, a lot, and then just go through the journey of healing and all that. And the moment that you're going through that, remember, even your own child is suffering because at the end of the day, you have to to accept yourself as human, and you're going to be broken.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have to see how can you be able to be there for this child, and also to be there for yourself, and also to be there for your workplace and all that. Okay. But luckily that time when the breakup was happening and all that, I didn't have a formal employment. So a lot of things I had to balance them a little bit. And also the thing that I'm really grateful for that moment is the breakup is the one that led me to formal employment, because I wanted to be around people. I know you guys don't know this, but you guys were part of my healing. Like I really needed to be around people.
We should start charging you.
You guys didn't know it.
I should be charging.
But we were a good vibe. We went.
So I needed a new environment. So I was like, I cannot work again remotely, like without people around me.
Yeah.
So I had now to start being actively to look for work. So when it comes to such things whereby you have to look at your emotional stability, and then at the same time during the tech journey I got pregnant again. Okay. So when now that was after maybe 10 years. So again now carrying that pregnancy and work and tech, and you have to make sure that your workplace does not feel the impact of your pregnancy. You have to balance that, like you have to be present.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, these people need an output. And it doesn't matter about what you're going through. They need an output. So also that now applies with the strong will that I'm saying. Like I had to sit myself down and know, like, okay, now I'm here. So how do I give the best? You see? So those are the challenges whereby you have to always remind yourself, like, regardless of being a mom, regardless of being a woman, regardless of anything, you have, like, there are people out there who need an output, who need to, because it's a business.
Yeah.
So they need revenue, and they need to have you in your best form. So how do you balance that? So you have to always remember, like, at the end of the day, these challenges are there. You're going to encounter a lot of challenges also as a woman, because I remember several tech spaces whereby I was applying for work, and they had to ask you, like, how many children do you have? And I'm like, how does that even matter? How many children do I have?
Yes.
True. You see?
But it does. But I've realized that a lot of companies actually use that as a form of discrimination.
A lot.
Because yes.
A lot.
I don't know. There are two sides to it. One company would think that because you have a child, then you can do anything for the child. So you're willing to negotiate down.
Anything.
Yes.
True.
Then another one would think that,
she needs more income.
She will need more income, or she will not have time. There is a sick child in the hospital or something of that sort. You have a lot of breaks. Yes.
Especially that is really, really, because now because even one had, when they called me, so I have had these experiences thrice. So one had to call me and ask me, like, given that you have a child, well, how will you be working late if this need be? And I'm like, okay, why am I working late?
If it's 8 to 5, why do you need to work late?
I need to be 8 to 5. So you see that part when an interview starts like that, and then you go to a panel.
Discriminating
during the interview, you go to a panel, and it's all men. Okay, so I'm like, these people, they do not even have the capacity to understand what I'll be going through. You see? So those are the challenges, because at the end of the day, you have to look for, if you're going to work in a tech space, you have to look also in a space whereby they value work-life balance. You see, because at the end of the day, also your child needs you.
Correct.
And they won't care whether you're looking for a better life for them.
Correct.
You see, at the end of the day, they will come on social media and call you toxic. Why? Because you didn't balance it. Like, my mom was always working, and
she was always working.
I know,
they don't care that
to give them a better life. They're like, I didn't ask.
Maybe even bought them a bike the other day.
But then they're like, I didn't ask for it. I just needed a parent. So
that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
I think you've actually answered the next question that I was to ask. Maybe some of the biases that you've faced as a mother, woman in tech, apart from the maybe calling on what will happen in a particular instance. Do you have another instance where you faced maybe bias?
I think that's the only bias so far, because also I love protecting myself too much. So I've not been really exposed out there to see what is around. The moment that I got where I'm working in and also other things to do, I was like, okay, let me just focus on these. So a lot of time, I don't let motherhood really define me as much. So I don't get to, oh, wait, there's a bias that I faced recently. And it was so funny because this person was looking for someone, and they asked me how much I charge. And I told them because it was something like tutorship or something. And what they told me, it really made me wonder. Okay, because the charges that I stated, they were really shocked. They were like, I can't pay you that because childcare in Kenya is not so expensive.
What?
Do you understand? So I was shocked because how does childcare
and
inside
you
my
delivering
skills?
a service?
Do you understand?
Doesn't make sense.
So I was like, I didn't even respond because I was like,
there's no need for discussion.
That because you see, you are paying me literally for the lifestyle that you think I should live. You don't even know my lifestyle. It's not about my skills. You're not telling me. You're paying me for this skill. You're paying me for the lifestyle.
You're charging for childcare.
Exactly.
Not even for your skills.
No, not skills. Like, because they know I really, when it comes to skill, they knew my skills.
Yes.
So
please, let's take a moment and let you brag about your skills for a minute.
You need to do that.
Go on.
Tell them.
Tell them.
I'm a really good front-end developer. Like when it comes to product design, front-end developing, it's
your thing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
You know?
Yes.
So when they told me about that, I was really shocked. Like, how do you...
I'm sorry.
I didn't even... So that is one of the... But you see, again, it's about children.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So the moment that someone tells me that, I'm like, it has been well. You know? So even I don't respond because I'm like, you don't want to pay me for my skills.
Yes.
You want to pay me for the lifestyle that you think I should lead.
Yeah.
You see, that you think I should lead. Not even the one that I'm leading. You see?
Yeah.
So it's like, cheers. So that one is one of the buses that I recently got.
I think it's important for us to say that even for the laws in Kenya, it really is not compulsory for you to disclose whether you have a family or not during an interview. It's also not important. Your marital status doesn't matter for an interview.
Exactly.
Even something as how much you earn in your previous company, no one needs to know. If you don't want to disclose that information, you don't need to disclose. So anything that can be used as a bias to decide the offer that they are going to give you, please, you don't need to disclose that information. And it's so shameful for companies to use that information. Because I know a friend of mine was actually somehow he talked personally about his family, and they really gauged what kind of an income level he comes from. And later on, when they gave him the offer, it was actually bad. Like, it was more like he's desperate. So they actually took advantage of the desperation that they learned from the interview, actually, and gave him an offer that somehow, because they knew he needed it, he took it. And it's actually very bad for companies to do that.
That's not
so
fair
please,
at all.
even if you're a mother out there, you have a child, even if you have 10 kids, you don't need to say that in an interview. Let that be made known when you're signing the insurance next of kin. Right?
The medical insurance part, like.
Next of kin, after you've gotten the offer and you've settled in the company, and you need to fill in your insurance details. The beneficiaries and all
second
that.
born.
Correct. Even the 10th born.
Relax.
But it's very important. But it's very important. So how do you take care of yourself in terms of, we know tech is very demanding. And motherhood is equally demanding. But before these things, I want this title, before you are a software engineer, UI UX designer, all these things, you are Beatrice Wambui, and you're someone's sister, you're yourself.
I'm myself. How do I take care of myself?
How do you take care of yourself?
I would say taking care of myself is something that I really strive to achieve. And I wouldn't want to start like to have this Zen kind of lifestyle, you know, because this before the second child, I had really hacked it, but you see, it was 10 years after.
Correct.
Okay, so right now I have a 1 year, 1.3 child running around, so she really demands a lot, you know, and it's right now when I'm trying to get back to myself. And I saw somewhere that it takes like 5 years for a mother to go back to, even not to you, because you cannot go back to who you are, but just to find a balance, because by 5 years this child now is almost independent. So right now what I've really strived on, and for those who know me, they really know I really insist on this, is therapy. As a mother, you cannot miss therapy, because therapy is really, really important, because it takes you through the phases that you cannot be able to, because also you don't want to keep on emotionally dumping to your friends. You see, because at the end of the day, when you chose to have these children, it was your sole decision. There's no one who forced that decision on you.
That's true.
So you don't want to keep on calling your friends and ranting about it and venting about it, and no, they will get tired, because right now Kenya, the way it is,
you're carrying a lot.
you really need to give your friends an easy time.
That's true.
So for me, therapy is something that has really grounded me, and I really appreciate my therapist for that, because even when I don't call, she'll call me like, do we need a session today? And I'm like, yes. Oh my God, we need a session.
That's today. A nice therapist.
She's really good. See, because she saw me through the breakup. She has seen me go into relationship. She has seen me out of them. She has seen me get a baby. She has seen me, you know, like now she has gotten an idea of who I am. So one of the ways that I take care of myself is a therapist. The other way is insisting on having a nanny. You know, I cannot do it all. I'm not superhuman. You know, so I really strive on having a nanny who is really balanced, who can take care of the children as I work. You know, and the other thing that I really appreciate also is having supportive friends. You know, because if you don't bleed on them, they're really supportive, so they become like a safe space for you. And then the other way right now, it's having a healthy relationship. You know, so having just a healthy relationship, having a healthy emotionally partner, that has really, really balanced me. You know, and also the other thing is the other thing that I'm really strived upon is the relationship between myself and my mother. You know, so she really grounds me. You know, like I don't think a day can pass without her calling. Like, how are you guys doing? And all that, and giving me all the details, the juicy details about Ushago, how it is. You know, so for me, I would say like those parts have really grounded me, because I've tried going back to meditation. I do 2 days, I'm out. I've forgotten the next day.
Intrusive thoughts.
So just doing 2 days, I'm out. I cannot do it anymore. I go running, I can't, you know. So I'm like, okay, right now I just want these social relations. Then after that, just a step at a time. And that's how now I've been able to really, I can say, to just be on the right path.
That's true. That's true. These past few months, you are glowing. It's good and it's showing.
Please don't give Mwikali content, please.
Right now, she can't say anything. Don't worry, I got you right now. I got you.
Anyway, I thank God for Nairobi. Nairobi is good when it's good. So,
maybe Nairobi is not that bad.
It's not that bad.
I can attest. Continue.
Look at the way Mwikali is looking. I love the way this screen is just restraining her from talking.
I'll just hold my thoughts. But anyway, as we come to a close, and maybe you want to ask, You've already mentioned therapy and the way it's important for a mother.
Yes.
So what are some of the other things that you think maybe companies, not even more so tech companies, but what other things can companies provide,
Employers.
especially in mothers, to mothers working in their companies?
I think flexible working hours. Flexible working hours, a very supportive manager that is really, really good. And also just activities for mothers, a zone whereby mothers can just be. All right, like you can be able to share the details, what is happening in your life, so that you don't see it's only you who is suffering, you know. So, and also I think the other really important thing is the medical insurance, because those ones are really important, because you see when you have a 10-year-old, you have a 5-year-old, you have a 2-year-old, these people are bound to fall sick irregularly.
A lot.
So you need a very sustainable medical insurance, right? So when you can have that, it really boosts our mothers, and also it keeps them at peace, all right? And of course, good pay. Just pay these
childcare is not cheap.
That's the baseline.
I know. All this
Childcare is not cheap in Kenya. Not
Please,
to be lied
it's
to.
not cheap. It's not cheap. So
Yes.
because diapers are really expensive, and I know there's someone who will say, but if you really know you are going to be a mother, don't. If you know
you
it's
still
expensive,
deserve
don't
to
get
be paid
a child.
fairly.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
The people who are very unreasonable, they'll be like, "Oh, if you think it's expensive, don't get a baby." We have to give birth. Okay, we
Please.
have to give birth,
Yes,
but also
please.
we need an environment where it's supportive to do that.
Yeah.
You know? So I would say those are really the major things that I've seen that are
Not
really
a mother,
important.
but I think there's something that I've seen here in actually where we are shooting today. They have an office for lactating mothers, like if you want to
yes, it's really important.
pump milk and all that. So for the office, for the people that actually go to the office physically, you need like you need that safe space. You need a fridge where you can actually store that milk.
Exactly.
And all that. Yeah, that's actually
nice.
very
I
important.
haven't noticed that. Are
used to work
you
here.
trying to tell us something?
I used to work here.
No, apart from the work, are you trying to tell us something?
Hey, God forbid, I jump and pass.
Wow.
Babu's represented us well.
I'm
Thank
there,
you.
I'm there.
Amen. Thank you for coming. Please, that's where the episode.
But wait, before actually we now close, the very last question I want to get from you.
Okay.
What is that one thing you've said you got your first kid when you were 20 years old?
Yes.
If personally, I think if it was for me, I'd be thinking, how do I continue? So there's probably somebody out there who's either discovered they've fallen pregnant, they've given birth recently, and they're wondering, how do I continue? What's that one thing you can actually tell them?
Have a very strong mental will. And I know this saying, people think it's a cliche, but where there is will, there is way.
Amen.
You know? So don't, sometimes your dreams, they seem here. Okay? So especially when you have a child, you don't get to see there. So you see here. Okay, in Kikuyu, we say like you just see your nose.
Say it in Kikuyu.
Yes, please. Represent the people from the mountain.
You know, so you don't get to see further, and that is what now kills a lot of people. You don't get to dream further because you feel like your life has stopped. And you feel like you're such a disappointment.
Sure.
You're such a failure. You're such, you will never move on, and this is a burden. The one thing, if you see your child as a burden, they become a burden. See a child just as a child. Just that. You don't have to name it a blessing, the way people say mtoto ni baraka. Don't put titles on it. Okay? Just see a child as a child, and you as you. Where do you want to be? Okay? Then use that metric to go where you want to be.
To move.
Okay? So when everyone else is giving up on you, don't be the person who gives up on you. See? So just hold on that. Just be very focused to just move in the right direction. And believe you me, you're going to make it.
Nice.
Because at 20 years, your brain is not yet really formed. Your brain has grown when you're 25. Okay, so you're literally just a child, even yourself. You cannot give up on yourself. You see, and the other thing, just get family planning. You see, it's really important.
Faith,
okay,
we're together
because once you've gotten a child, believe you me, you're just going to do those activities again and again. So you need a very good family planning.
Co-curricular activity.
Co-curricular activity, so that you can be able to plan yourself. And I can say for a fact, when I got my child at 20 and then when I got my child at 30, it's really exciting because I wanted to. I was ready. I was feeling like, oh my God, I need a child. Like a child is calling my name and I'm like, yes, So I really needed a child at that moment. Yeah. And you see that gap would not have been enabled if I didn't have family planning, if I didn't know how to take care of myself, if I didn't know where I wanted to go, you see. So don't jump, and also don't get a child for a man. Get a child for yourself. So such that if that because men are able to live. You see, men are able to just go out there and be men. But at the end of the day, me as Wambui, I will always be known as a mother of two.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so I don't get to leave. It's not as easy. You know, people tell you, "Oh, leave the baby with that." It's not as easy as people paint it. So for you, you have to know, like, when I'm getting these children, they are mine first. They literally grew in me. They're mine. So remember, at the end of the day, a man's body does not change. A man's mental space, if he's not ready, does not change. A man's emotional does not change. But yours, whether you like it or not, changes. Yeah. You see? So just know in that moment, it's for you and not for the other person. Okay. If you know that, you're able to space yourself, you're able to grow, and also keep on learning. Keep looking for new avenues, and keep interacting with the right company. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I would say.
So okay. So as we wind up, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Where can people find you?
Yes.
Oh wow, where can people find me? Oh yeah, on LinkedIn. I had forgotten. I almost said my address at home, but on LinkedIn. Anyway, I'm joking. Yeah, so on LinkedIn, you can find me as Beatrice Wambui Mbugua. That's the best avenue for you to find me.
Please reach out to her for any services, any jobs, any side gigs, any full-time opportunities.
Yes.
Yeah, they must be remote though. Remote opportunities.
So that I can be there for those two kids.
Yeah,
very important.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you for coming. We have a small token of appreciation. So this is the branded mousepad courtesy of Global Tech Sailors.
Okay. Hey Tech Sailor.
Yes.
Hey Tech Sailor.
Yes. So please, we know you are a Mac OS person.
Yeah, but I wanted to know, how do Mac people use this?
You can actually get a mouse that gets another machine. Doesn't have to be Mac.
Don't you have a setup? Your whole you want to?
Well, now let me raise children first before I get the setup. But we'll get there.
But thank you. Yeah. We know you still find it useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when Guardian is doing all that, you can also use it for gaming really and all that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. And thank you for welcoming me here. I can't wait to see where you guys will be in 2 years.
Wow. We'll be very far. Thank you. We'll bring you back, obviously. I know. Don't worry. Like, we are planning to have more fun content. Obviously, please. Ask me, I agree by this. So...
But I'm really proud of what you guys are doing. It's really amazing just to watch your journey and to see the people that you have invited in this space. So you guys are really...
tell our listeners to subscribe and share our work.
Subscribe on Spotify, on Twitter, on... you guys are on Facebook though? No. Or on YouTube. Facebook is for the
on Instagram.
So, but they're on Instagram. So just subscribe.
Yes, and buy our merchandise. These ones are available also. And this is
at a very negotiable price.
500 Kenya shillings only. That's like $4. Please.
Yeah.
The same case with the t-shirts. I
have a polo shirt with me today.
Yes.
It only goes for 1,000 shillings.
Yes. So please click on the link down below, obviously. Yeah. And place your order. And thank you so much for listening today. We hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
I really did enjoy.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.